Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. As we all know, Morris Zhang founded TSMC for more than 30 years and officially retired in 2018. Despite this, Morris Zhang still has great influence in the industry and often participates in domestic and foreign forums. At a forum held by Taiwanese media in mid-March, Morris Zhang publicly expressed support for the U.S. policy on Chinese chips. Morris Zhang has completely betrayed China. Foreign media, there is no TSMC in the world. Morris Zhang should be one of the most authoritative leaders in the semiconductor industry, and few people in the industry can match his resume. The greatest achievement is the creation of TSMC, creating the world's largest chip manufacturing giant. Even the United States cannot do without TSMC's cooperation. TSMC has been invited to build factories in the United States many times, and it is obvious that TSMC has taken a fancy to TSMC's technology and human resources. Morris Zhang may also know the tricks of the United States. The cost of building factories in the United States is not only huge, but also lacks the advantages of labor talents. In short, Morris Zhang is not optimistic about TSMC's construction of factories in the United States. This makes many people think that Morris Zhang supports semiconductors in mainland China and opposes American chip rules, and does not want TSMC to join forces with the United States. But is this really the case? First of all, we must understand that Morris Zhang's nationality is already an American, and TSMC uses a lot of American technology. When the United States implemented chip regulations, TSMC also chose to comply. Morris Zhang not only did not persuade the United States to turn back, but also issued support for the United States' remarks. In mid-March, Taiwanese media held a semiconductor-related forum, where Morris Zhang expressed support for the U.S. policy on Chinese chips. In other words, Morris Zhang betrayed China, sided with the United States, and cooperated with the United States. Even though he knew that the U.S. approach was wrong and chip rules would disrupt the order of the global market, Morris Zhang still made mistakes. Morris Zhang has completely betrayed China, so why did Morris Zhang make such a choice? In fact, everything stems from a sentence that Morris Zhang once said, that is, globalization is dead, and it is impossible to recover. This sentence has helplessness, regret, and Morris Zhang's compromise in the face of reality. The rise of TSMC has benefited from globalization. Since its development in 1987, TSMC has cooperated closely with customers from all over the world without any interference. Until 2020, subject to U.S. chip rules, Huawei lost orders from its second-largest customer. Since then, the pattern of chip globalization has changed, and TSMC has begun to increase its dependence on the U.S. market. Almost all high-end chip orders are provided by U.S. companies. In particular, Apple monopolizes the first production capacity of 4 nanometers and 3 nanometers. Without the support of American companies, TSMC would probably go bankrupt. Facing the huge market temptation, will TSMC choose to enforce the U.S. rules or let nature take its course? As TSMC agreed to build a factory in the United States, the answer has been revealed. TSMC invested in the United States to build a factory, moved 5 nanometers, 3 nanometers and other high-end chip production lines to the United States, and also transported equipment and talents to the American factory. This is not increasing capacity, this is transferring capacity. During this process, Morris Chang said many times that building a factory in the United States would be costly and that there would be no talent advantage, and the final result would be futile. In connection with Morris Chang's open support for the United States on the forum this time, I am afraid that Morris Chang's bad-mouthing of the U.S. chip manufacturing industry is not a dissent, but a fight for more subsidies from the United States. Morris Chang tried his best to create a difficult situation for TSMC to build a factory in the United States. He came to the United States to build a factory under great pressure. Therefore, he hopes that the United States will provide more subsidies so that TSMC can invest in the U.S. market normally. Otherwise, how could a person undergo such a huge change of attitude in just a few months, from bad-mouthing the United States to supporting the United States to implement chip regulations? Morris Chang is already of one mind with the United States. So can the United States confide in Morris Chang? Certainly not. The United States can only use its relationship with TSMC to support the rise of the American manufacturing industry with the help of TSMC and transfer the chip manufacturing industry chain to the United States. It seems to be a cooperation, but in fact, the United States asks for data from TSMC and excludes TSMC from the 2 nanometers cooperation project with Japan, which shows that the United States does not regard TSMC as its own. If the time is right, it is possible for the United States to hollow out TSMC. And TSMC posted up by itself, it may be nothing. Some foreign media said, there is no more TSMC in the world, and TSMC will become USMC if it is hollowed out by the United States. Morris Chang should understand that the United States cannot provide a free lunch. TSMC's technology and talents are the objects that the United States covets. Let us assume that once the resources held by TSMC are in the hands of the United States, I believe everyone knows what the consequences will be. TSMC will gradually lose its leading position in the industry, lose its core technical support, and lose its influence in leading the semiconductor industry for decades. If Morris Chang does not want this to happen, he should correct his stand and support free trade from a fair and objective perspective, instead of helping the evildoers. If you agree with the viewpoint of this video, please like it, welcome to Forward, leave a message and share.